Good morning, everyone. Jan Hicks of Jan Hicks Creates here. It is Friday, April 12th. Happy anniversary to me and Mike. 8:26 a.m. here in on Oahu, 71 degrees and sunny. It has been pretty rainy the past couple days, which means it's been nice and pleasant, nice breezes blowing. You know, it really doesn't, it's not stormy like your traditional stormy. It's just rainy and pleasant and green, green, green. But with the sun out there today, I'm up here in the loft recording this. I wanted to get it done early before the sun really starts to bake and really makes this loft hot. I'm not doing the picture-in-picture. I'll do that every once in a while. It's a little bit more of a beast to set up and to edit. And quite frankly, I can do these stitch with me's early without having gotten a shower yet. I don't have to get myself all fixed up for you when I'm not doing the picture-in-picture. So there you have it. Anyways, new start. The Paradise chart by Sandy Orton for Kooler Designs Studios. There was a picture of it at the beginning that you saw. I've showed this. This is the one I was excited to start for our anniversary. Mike has gone to work today for just a couple hours, and then he's going to come home, and we're going to go up to the North Shore and have shrimp from one of the shrimp trucks and probably just find a quiet place to chill on a beach somewhere and hopefully not get stormed out today. This row I'm working on is 30 stitches across. So there is some counting in my future. I am working in the middle. I started in the middle. So the band that says Paradise, and so the colors are a little bit more muted, the background of that band, and then the word Paradise is in, let me see, I actually pulled them. Paradise itself, the word is in these colors, so that'll be a nice contrast with these creams. So as you know, I wasn't allowed to start this until, I wouldn't say I wasn't allowed because I don't set those kind of rules for myself. But I really wanted to get the Linen and Threads mystery sampler, the band sampler, done before I started this because it'd be nice to have a finish, right? I came close. I came so close. I didn't have as much stitching time yesterday as I did the other days, and of course the last band is a lot bigger than these two bands were. These ones I both got done in a day. The last band I got half the band done in a day. So that is the half, and of course I guess a little more than half when you count that as being part of the other half. I'm thrilled with it. I love the colors I chose. I wasn't too sure at first about the blues. I was thinking maybe the purples would work better with the red, but I picked the blues because I needed more blue. I'm not going to unroll all this, but because of the way I had the blues dispersed throughout the sampler, I needed to have more blue at the bottom to balance it out. The colors I knew for sure were the red and the gold. The red because there's other spots of this bright red scattered throughout, and I needed a red down here, and I knew that would be perfect. And the gold for the torch part because I have used this same gold for the other vase urn type pieces throughout the sampler, so I knew I was going to use that for that. I really like that I have the touch of gold here. I was originally just going to keep this whole flower the same, but when I got there last night, I decided that touch of gold would be a nice repetition of the gold throughout this piece. The dark green, I also was kind of a no-brainer for me. It's the same dark green I've been using for the separating lines throughout the sampler. And so I knew having the dark green, these big dark green elements here at the bottom would create that kind of finish and separation that is happening in between all of the bands. I was also going to use a lighter green for the leafy parts here amongst the flowers, but decided to keep with this same green again for balance and repetition. I don't like my top band, and like I said, I'm not going to unroll it. I'll talk more about it in my when I show it as a finished object bleh, on my floss tube next week, which it will be finished by then. My top band is another thick one, and I feel like I used too many colors in it, so it's a little bit chaotic. So while I was going to use a lighter green for these, I decided to keep it the darker green to, again, have more repetition and flow throughout this bottom band and not have it get too chaotic. I don't think the addition of another green would have done that, but I just decided to keep it the same green, and I'm really pleased with it. So, almost got it finished, not quite. I really didn't think I would. This bottom band has a lot of stitching in it. I am pleased I got half of it done yesterday. I'm going to work on Paradise all day today, but I will get back to this Saturday and Sunday and get this done. So yay, almost there. Very, very happy with it. So, how are you guys today? I hope you have had a lovely stitchy week and are on your way to having a lovely stitchy weekend. I know, oh my goodness, Colorado, Minnesota, you're getting slammed again with snow. I know there are people out there that have lost their power. I have a friend who lives outside of the Twin Cities, and she posts pictures on Facebook. The last picture I saw yesterday, I think she was probably up to 8 inches. I doubt if they lost power, but she is actually running in the Boston Marathon. She has run it for the past 2 or 3 years. I have a feeling this storm is going to be chasing her across the country. But I will say right now, go T. I am so proud of you. You're an amazing woman. I don't know how you can stand to live in Minnesota though. I know it's beautiful in the 2 months you have of summer. Yeah, wow. Snowstorm. I actually have another friend who used to live in Minnesota who lives in Florida now, and she could remember a 20-inch snowstorm on April 15th some number of years ago. No, thank you. I'm having a hard time keeping on camera. I know you're not really looking, but I feel like I should at least have my stitching on camera for those who do want to look. So after my stitch with me last week, that I had it as kind of a tutorial for how to use even weave, or how to transition from Aida to even weave if that's something you want to do. I got a lot of great input from a number of you on other tips to help make that transition easier, and I thought I'd share those with you. So Penny says, and I should have mentioned this, this is a great tip. When you are making that transition from Aida to even weave and then to linen, start with projects, like I mentioned smaller projects, and I did mention like Lizzie Kate and Bent Creek. She says start with projects with bigger blocks of color so you don't have to do a lot of counting right away. And that's kind of the feel of the Lizzie Kates, the Country Cottage Needleworks, the you know, those ones that are simpler, are smaller, and do tend to have, not all of them do, but they do tend to have bigger blocks of color. So thank you, Penny, for that tip. I don't think that's 30 yet. Let me go on. Vanessa, start your stitching next to a vertical thread. This helps with the counting to know that you're in the right place. And what she means by that is when you are looking at your linen, you have your warp and your weft, and somebody else said weft is left, so I assume that means, I need to stay on camera for this, I assume that means that this, the vertical thread, is the weft. So what she's saying is you have, you know, the up and down, over and under motion of weaving, right? So the vertical thread, what she's saying is start your stitch so that your corner is coming up in a hole where that vertical thread is. So that's the over thread, right? Going over top of the warp. So that way when you're counting, if you get off and say you start to come up in this hole, the vertical thread is underneath the warp. Do you see that? So you'll know right away that you're wrong. So recount. Let's see. And speaking of counting, I'm going to do that. 30 stitches, right? I don't think I'm there yet, but let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Oh, wouldn't you know, I'm over. All right, talk amongst yourselves while I unstitch. I think there was about 5. And then we will count again. So another tip, Christine, always count over from the same hole or corner of the stitch you are on. Oh, shoot. I didn't want to have to unthread, but of course I caught one of the fibers of the material. Grr. So what she means by that is count over from the same hole or corner of the stitch you are on. And I do that a lot. So if I'm counting, so just easily for a short one, if I'm counting from here and I have to go maybe up here, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So I'm up in the upper right corner of that stitch. It just helps you to know, am I looking for the stitch down below? Am I looking for the stitch up above? You know, it just is another tool to help you keep on track. Speaking of keeping on track, hold on. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Still have to take out 2. Okay, and I will be counting again because that's what you do, right? Count twice, or 3 times, or 4 times even. So, shoot, I was going to copy and paste something into my notes and I forgot. Another commenter, Anne, coined the term for me, fabric snob, talking about, you know, preferring Aida or linen or even weave, you know, whatever our preference is. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Yay. So I readily admit to being a yarn snob. I like nice yarn. What can I say? I know nice yarn. When I knit, I want to use nice yarn. I don't shop for yarn at Joann's or Michael's. I just don't. So, and I know there are cost constraints for many of you, and that's fine. And you know, you do what you got to do if you want to pursue your hobby. I understand that. I have been blessed enough that I got to work in a yarn store and learn about nice yarn. Yeah, so fabric snob. I think I might be a little bit of a fabric snob too. I hate to admit that, but I do like me some nice fabric, and I have to admit, I do open up that cabinet down there where I store my fabric, and like when I was looking for this piece, I have to admit that I kind of pet what I had there and riffled through it and just, you know, marveled at that stack of just gorgeous linen that I have down there. It is so pretty and it feels so nice. So yeah, I guess I better own I am a bit of a fabric snob too. Sorry, not sorry. We are what we are. Debbie emailed me, or actually left a comment. There had been rumors about DMC discontinuing Monaco. And let me think, shoot, I wish I had copied that. She actually emailed DMC to ask them, you know, what was up. And they did get back to her with a very timely response, saying that it was not being discontinued. I forget whether they were having problems with their dyer or their weaver. There was some kind of holdup that they were experiencing, and they were figuring it out. And I do not remember, and that's why I wish I had copied and pasted the information here, which I had planned to do and then never did. So I think she then emailed back to find out if they had a timeline for when it would be available again, and she had not heard back yet. So anyways, Monaco is not being discontinued. Discontinued is the bottom line. It is going to still be available. So thank you, Debbie, for letting us know that. She also posted that on, I don't know whether it was Stitch Mania or Friday Off the Grid or, you know, one of those groups, Stitching with the Housewives, maybe, since that Monaco is their go-to fabric. Another comment that I had that, on my video this past week was somebody asking for my thoughts on DMC versus overdyed threads, and she wanted to know my thoughts on that. That was oh, I didn't write down her name, I'm sorry. So I thought I'd talk about that a little bit in this video, and also throw in silks there a bit. Really, again, it comes down, just like with Aida versus even weave versus linen, it comes down to personal preference, what you can afford, maybe more of the deciding factor than anything. Because I know for a lot of us out there, my foot's falling asleep, I know for a lot of us out there that the price of overdyes are just ridiculous. Whether you're in the UK, in the EU someplace, or in Australia, New Zealand, I know the prices are jacked up quite a bit to allow for the import. And like I said, even here on the island, I'm paying, if to get Gentle Arts or Weeks, I'm paying twice the cost of what I pay on the mainland. So having, you know, there are many pieces that I would say you might want to splurge and get like the silks or the overdyeds. But I think my main, I guess my main criteria is how much of an heirloom, I guess, I think a piece is going to be. Like my Luz Gonzalez sampler, that piece I certainly would hope would be an heirloom, and I felt it was worth getting the silks. Part of it is also how much, if the designer has used overdyed or silk, how much of what thrills you about the design, of what calls to you, is because of what floss they used. Now, I would say, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. I would say silk, it's kind of a toss-up, because, you know, silk, for the most part, the samplers that are done in silk, it's not like they have an overdyed quality that adds to the depth and the interest of a piece. The silk is adding a shine, and the silk is adding a quality, a richness, a luster to it that you're not going to get with DMC. But if you did need to celebrate, why did I say celebrate? If you did need to, that's a very strange, I'm just laughing at myself. If you did need to substitute to DMC, it's not like you're going to lose a look that I would say the general audience would notice. Does that make sense? Like if you are looking at a piece that is using overdyed flosses, you can see the overdyed, what the overdyed does to it. You know, it adds the difference in the colors, whether it's more variegated or not. It's adding a depth to the piece that you don't get with plain DMC. So that's when you decide, is what I like about this, that look that the overdyeds provide, is it worth the cost? And again, that's totally personal preference. That's something only you can decide. My Harbor Haven is mostly DMC. I did substitute out some overdyeds, or substitute in some overdyeds, because there was some depth that I wanted, especially in the water, because it's such a piece that is, you know, the water is a central theme in it, and I wanted that to stand out. Of course, I believe that is an heirloom piece. Does the fact that I've used DMC detract from that? Absolutely not at all. So, yeah, I just keep coming back to the fact that it's totally a preference. I'm using, like I said, I'm using the silk on Luz because I wanted that look, I wanted those exact colors, and I wanted that richness. Would it not have had the same richness with the DMC? It wouldn't have the same luster, but it would still be a beautiful piece. And the same with other samplers. You know, it seems like samplers so often are just done in silks, and that can be really expensive. Does that mean if you do it with DMC, you don't have as wow-worthy as a standout of a piece as you would otherwise? No, I don't think so. It does, I think, add a certain quality of specialness to it, but I don't think it's going to detract from the final piece if you've used, you know, the DMC versus the silk. I don't know whether that's made any sense or not. I feel like I'm rambling and kind of pulling for an explanation, because it really, really, really does just come down to personal preference and what people can afford. And unfortunately for many of us, it gets to be rather outrageous. Now, I will say, I highly encourage you to check out the indie dyers, most specifically Victorian Motto, because if you want the best bang for your buck, that's what you're getting. You're getting 20 yards of her floss in each of those skeins at a fantastic price. Now, for those further away, you will have to pay shipping, but you know, whatever the extra shipping is, but the value you're getting in the floss itself, I think, more than makes up for that. And speaking of Victorian Motto, Nancy, you know, sign up, go to her website, Victorian Motto Sampler Shop, and sign up for her newsletter, because she is always, every time she creates a new bundle of floss, a new color pack, she always gives sets away. So I think right now she has a set of reds that she's giving away. You know, she's constantly creating new things, and I don't know any other business out there that gives as much stuff away as she does. So, and don't, a lot of people talk about her eBay shop. Her prices are better through her website, VictorianMottoSamplerShop.com. I will link, hopefully link that below. I hope I remember. But also check on Etsy for indie dyers that might be in your country. You know, I think there's more and more people discovering this world. I feel like there is a resurgence in the cross-stitch world, and more people are discovering dyeing fabric and dyeing floss. So, and like even if they're not in your country, like XG Designs in Hungary, Barbarol Creations in Hungary. There's a gal, Nikki, she may also be in Hungary, that does both floss and fabric as well. So there are other options out there that you can get other people's floss, you know, people that are local to you, and try those. And, you know, don't be afraid to substitute. Find colors that are close and substitute. And of course, there's silks for you in Australia. Just gorgeous, gorgeous silks from all different, you know, that can feed that need you have for silk. Now, a lot of theirs is variegated, so it's not necessarily going to work for like a sampler type of thing. But there are other sources out there rather than the main ones that designers list on their patterns. So I hope that was helpful and not too rambly. All right, so that is at a half hour. I am going to go ahead and call it a day here, get this uploaded. Doesn't seem like much for a half hour, but you know. Like I said, I'm going to work on this through the day, as much stitching as I might get done today with the other stuff we're going to do. I will see you on Tuesday for my next floss tube. I hope you all have a wonderful stitchy weekend, and I'll see you on social media. Please follow me on Jan Hicks Creates on Facebook. If you send me a friend request to my personal Facebook page, I will not accept that. But of course, I'm more than happy to have you join Jan Hicks Creates. I'm not selling anything. I'm not promoting anything. It's just me. That's where I show the majority of my cross stitch, not on my personal page. So hook up with me there and we can talk and chat and laugh, and you can see my progress on things outside of the different videos that I do. Until then, I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.